Hey, wrestling fans, welcome to the One Wing Wrestling Podcast, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bring you the best matches, world class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. My name is Krishna Dhanai, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Bill Cutbush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's going pretty well. It is a beautiful day out here in Toronto. We are
Hmm.
finally up over 25 degrees today, which is kind of nice. It was beautiful on my walk. Yeah. Just you want to hear a story real fast? I've been driving since I was like 16 years old. Do you know how many
Hmm.
flat tires I've had to worry about in that entire time? Like we're talking like, 30 plus years of driving now.
Like, like maybe five, maybe
Zero until
zero. Okay,
yesterday.
okay, okay.
Zero. The
Okay.
very first time I've ever had to deal with a flat
The flat
tire in
tire.
my life. Yeah. I'm like, I guess to each person's life, a flat must fall. But
I guess, yeah.
yeah, but that's okay. So that was my start off to a wonderful day yesterday of traffic snarls and flat tires and all kinds of other stuff. But how was your weekend?
It was good. It was weird because I was talking to someone today and I said, preparing for the ride to conquer cancer really took a lot out of me. Um, and it's always like every weekend, like it was so busy because we're trying to get rides in and do all these different things. So I didn't never really had a chance just to relax. So the Saturday I just relaxed and it felt so weird. I'm like, feel like I should be doing something, but I was just like laying there, and I'm like, you know what? This feels good. This feels really good just to not do anything and not have to worry about anything and everything just being hectic, and it was just nice. It was just nice. So yeah, my weekend was
We
was great. It was really great.
you realize that at this time next week, we will have seen Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I do realize that because
Yes.
it's less than a week now. It's like this like less than what 6 days. So we it's the countdown is on. Like the last week, the go home shows are starting. Like it's
Yep.
yeah, Forbidden
Well,
Door.
yeah, I mean and that's a good lead in because yeah, I
Mhm.
mean we this is our weekly show. We will be talking about various news of the week. I suspect a chunk of it will be focused on AEW, the build up to Forbidden Door, that kind of stuff, considering that we did have the debut of Collision last Saturday.
Mhm.
Um, we had Rampage Friday, and we got Forbidden Door coming up. But of course, we will also be looking at any other news that might spark up, maybe an injury update or two. Of course, I'll be taking a look at a little bit of New Japan news, and I'll be talking about, well, something I almost never talk about on this show, and that's Stardom. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was sarcasm, everybody.
Let's
Yeah. So we will then be talking about a little bit of Stardom because, though I got to tell you, I've decided with the Stardom stuff to take a slightly different approach with it going forward.
okay,
Not
okay,
just
fair enough.
here's some great matches, but here's a thread of a storyline and follow the great matches through the thread of the storyline.
Okay, okay.
So yeah, if any of you are listening, want to give me some feedback on whether you think that's a better approach to it or not, let me know. But I kind of like it because I like telling stories. So anyway, that's what's going to be happening today on the podcast as we get set up for Forbidden Door. We will have pre-shows for Forbidden Door and for the Smash Progress Defy Femme Fatale show that we will
Hmm.
also be going to on Saturday. Big day, oh, Sunday rather.
Sunday. Yeah,
Big.
you keep
I'm
saying
like,
Saturday. I'm like, is it Saturday? I thought it was
Saturday? No,
before.
my birthday's Sunday, not
Yeah.
Saturday. So yes. Anyway, cool. So that's what's coming up this week. But for now, we do have some news to get into. You want to get into Z News, Krishna?
Let's get into it.
Okay. First up, we have CM Punk. He did. I think that name is going to be mentioned an awful
Hmm.
lot today.
Hmm.
Again.
Hmm.
He did an interview with ESPN. It was published on June the 16th. I'm just going to run through some highlights and then we can talk about it. So, some highlights from this specific interview. He says that he treats wrestling like a business, and I treat it like the television show that it is. He never considered not returning, and for Collision, he did state that it's easier to move tickets on a Saturday night than for a weekday show. Did you have
Okay.
any comments on that to start with?
Oh, well, that's funny because they're still not moving tickets outside of Chicago, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Um, but okay, yeah, sure. We'll see. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So okay,
Well,
sure.
hey, I did hear that they actually aired Collision at midnight on TSN 2 or something
Oh,
like
they
that.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
they were TSN 3,
great.
one of the low end TSNs.
That's
So they put it on like well after it was done in the overnight slot. But hey, at least you could record it with the
release on
DVR
TV.
if you wanted
Yeah,
to, right?
yeah,
So
100%, 100%.
yeah,
That's actually really good.
yep.
That's good.
So plus on you there, TSN, you actually put it on television. Brawl Out. He did talk a little bit about Brawl Out. The interview confirmed that the start of the problem from Punk's point of view was around the treatment of Colt Cabana, which Punk continues to claim he had absolutely nothing to do with. Of particular note here, the reason why he was able to talk about this apparently is because Adam Page is not on the list of people Punk is not legally allowed to talk about. You'll note he didn't mention a number of names during
Mm-hmm.
this interview.
Mm.
Adam Page, he's allowed to talk about Adam Page, so he
Oh,
did.
okay, okay.
Um, so in the article, Punk said the Cabana stuff was exacerbated in the Page promo that night. The one we've talked about before is when
Yeah.
you talk a big game about workers' rights, shown the exact opposite since you got here. That promo that Punk said was a shoot promo. Punk said that he considered not going through with the match out of concern that Page might intentionally attempt to hurt him. And
Mm.
Punk said, and I quote, and I proceed to have what I think is a garbage match because I'm trying to protect myself on stuff instead of actually just working and trying to put on the best performance I can. I'm keeping an eye out. He chopped me in the mouth one time, and I'm just like, okay, did you do that on purpose? You chipped my tooth, and I'm like, all right, should I give a receipt? It changes the dynamic. It poisoned everything for me, and it made it really, really ugly. And that was what set all this off. And here we are over a year later, and ain't shit been done about it. He said he apologized to Tony Khan for the
Mm-hmm.
media scrum at All Out. And he said, I apologize for the scrum, quote again. But when you've watched the scrum, he said, when you've watched the scrum, you're looking at a very, very frustrated guy who had told people that's not the first time he heard all that. It's not the first time lawyers were told all that. And I was just looking for something to be done and nothing got done. So if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And I just didn't approach it in the right manner, but tension was high. I was very, very pissed. I pretty much knew that I had just injured myself again. I was hurt. I was disappointed. It was easy for me to say I regret that. And I handled it the wrong way 100%. He said, I don't think what happened was a big deal. This has happened in the last 10 months in hockey, in basketball, in baseball, and just about every sport, and it's covered and gone the next day. He did say he tried to contact Omega and the Bucks, but he got messages from lawyers saying, don't contact this person. He said he resented being painted as the bad guy in online reports and blamed people in the AEW locker room. He says basically they've all got to roll in the fucking mud now, and that never should have happened and has never been course corrected. And so he says he's open to have a full-blown sit-down powwow discussion with everybody, but it hasn't happened yet, and it's not because of my lack of trying.
Yeah,
There you go.
This was an interesting article. It's always you need to understand both sides of the story. And hey, I'm in no way saying what CM Punk did was right. He's saying it himself. It was wrong, even though he kind of says I had to take control in my own hands and do it. No, you still did it wrong. Regardless of what happens, is that not even the fight. It's the actual press conference was an absolute disaster. Like why he decided to blow up there. Maybe everything he's saying, right? Everything he says, I was upset, I was pissed off. We get that. Everyone does it now and then, right? But I appreciate the fact that he at least said it was wrong, right? He should not. He approached it in the absolute worst way possible. Again, I'm not laying off of him saying that but what he did was right. It was absolutely wrong. I do feel like now that you hear the story and I'm looking at it from CM Punk's perspective here, right? He admittedly says I had nothing to do with that Colt Cabana firing. And Tony Khan said that as well. He's like, first of all, Tony Khan said Colt Cabana was never fired. He was just being moved on to something else, right? Again, that's what Tony Khan said, right? Even during the press conference, Tony Khan said Punk had nothing to do with any of that stuff. And so it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if I'm Punk and everyone's telling me I'm having this guy fired and it's not true, yeah, that's gonna irk me a bit, right? Secondly, the Hangman thing. Like Punk states that, him and Hangman talked before the actual promo, and they rehearsed like what they were gonna say. They both agreed upon it, and said when Hangman went off script, that really bothered him. And again, from his perspective, why wouldn't I be protecting myself during that match? Right? Because if the guy's gonna like, listen, I love Hangman Page. I love Hangman Page. I get you sticking up for your friends and stuff like that. But all this stuff is so childish, right? It's so childish. It's one of those things. Again, Tony Khan, you should have handled this better. I'm sorry to say this. You should have handled this better. Yes, you did not know that CM Punk was going to fly off script like that during that presser, but part of me is understanding the amount of probably BS he's had to put up with just stepping in, because hey, remember AEW was all about, we're gonna do this. We don't need top stars. We got all this, and then I hate to say it, a top star gets hired from the rival company like after he left for like years, and suddenly he's pulling in a lot, right? Like I hate to say it, he pulls in, he draws, he does draw, right? I mean Chicago mostly, but he still draws. So listen, I looked at this and I'm like, I understand both sides. I get why the Bucks and well, not even Omega. From what I hear, Omega is like him and Omega probably could talk, but they obviously lawyers are in the way right now. If I'm on the Bucks side, I understand why the Bucks don't want to talk to him. Why would you? Right? Why would you want to talk to him? Right? You get sewered in the press conference, which again, a conversation that could have happened behind closed doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get sewered. You approach. There's a fight. There's a cheer thrown. There's biting that's happening. There's all this nonsense. And for CM Punk to say, "Oh, I didn't think that was that bad." Okay, yes, he's not wrong in terms of this happens in sports, right? Heck, in hockey, one guy got punched in the face because he was talking about Trump or whatever. And anyways, but he got punched in the face by one of his own teammates,
Mm-hmm.
and they got by it. Guess what? It wasn't blown up as much as this. And I do kind of agree with Punk in terms of like, what would have happened if his injury wasn't there? If he wasn't injured and wasn't going to be out for like 9 months,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it's been, would this have been handled sooner? And would all of us not be talking? Like, remember how sick we were of like, okay, here's more stuff about the all out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's more stuff, and it's kept going and going and going. Listen, you know me. I've never been a huge CM Punk fan, but I'm not just here to say one side is 100% right, one side is 100% wrong, right? Like I understand both sides, and heck, I support the elite. So yeah, people were talking all this stuff about me. I probably would have done the same thing and be like, dude, you called us out. You said come. You said you know where I am. Come see me if you have a problem with it. They went
Mm-hmm.
there and they saw him, and
Yes.
that's what happened. Like
Mm-hmm.
we all heard that press conference. I'm just like, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, so I kind of hope for AEW's sake we can move past this now and just keep rolling. But there's some things coming out. I'm like, all right, it's whatever. But
Yep.
but I'm glad he gave this interview, because I'm like, it gave me more insight. And again, I'm gonna say this again. I'm not saying what he did was right, because I'm telling you it was 100% wrong. But it's that he's so unpredictable. It's almost like Tony Khan, like if he doesn't get his way again, let's say down the line, is he gonna pull the same crap again? Right? Is he willing now? Has he learned that hey, maybe we take this behind closed doors? Tony, like let's talk about this first. Or is he gonna blow up again?
Well, you see, the thing is, it sounds like he did go to Tony more than once,
He did.
right?
Yes, he did. Yes.
Right? Because he
Mhm,
specifically says,
mhm.
I was looking for something to be done, and nothing got done, right? So if he actually went to Tony and
Mhm.
said, do something about this, and Tony did nothing, and Tony did nothing, and Tony did nothing, right? And we have no evidence how many
We
times he went
don't.
and talked to him. We
Exactly.
have no
Exactly.
idea. We only have
Exactly.
Punk's word for it. Tony hasn't
Yeah.
said. Now, Tony Khan did come out and say, but the Hangman had nothing to do with it. I mean, Colt Cabana has nothing to do with CM Punk,
Yeah.
right? The timing's kind of coincidental, and that his next AEW match is while CM Punk is on the shelf injured. You know, like
right, a lot of things.
it's there's I mean, that could just be coincidence, but I mean, if you don't want to make it look like not coincidence, don't put him back on TV like that,
Yeah,
right? But
exactly.
anyway, so I get it, but here's my big problem with what he said. I apologize for the scrum, but when you've watched the scrum, and then he goes on, I'm frustrated, blah blah blah, right? You know, I didn't approach in the right manner, but tension was high. I was very, very pissed. Right? It's like, I know I didn't do it right, but I have a bunch of excuses. I know I didn't do it properly, but I have a bunch of excuses. And that's what the but does in any apology, right? I don't care what the apology is for. I don't care where it is. The minute you start to you throw a but into an apology, you're no longer taking responsibility. You're making excuses for your actions. Right. So this is a bunch of excuses for his actions. Now, that said, he isn't alone.
Nope. I agree.
Right. I think Tony Khan has a lot of responsibility for this because we've said a few times, control your locker room better. Right. Now, the sports analogy, you're right. Someone did get punched in the face. That's fine. But how many guys have you heard of on multiple sports be traded off their teams because they're poisoned in the locker room?
All. Like, I would say 100% of them gone.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. They get released just because of their attitude.
Yeah.
Right. It doesn't matter how good they are. If they're poison in the locker room, they're screwing up the team, they get traded. So that's a terrible analogy. Sometimes sports teams work it out. Sometimes the guy gets dumped, released, or traded, or whatever, right? Shopped around, or the guy sits out and won't play, and this kind of crap, right? So terrible analogy, Punk. Terrible analogy. But, you know, I'm really, really hoping that we can just move past this.
Yeah, same.
Because it's gotten ridiculous. This story is turned into this generation's Montreal Screwjob.
Yeah, it is.
We just hear about it over and over and over. And it's like, you know, you talk about Punk's side of the story, then why did he go off multiple times on Instagram? Multiple times. If you want it to go away, ignore it and let it go away. If you stop talking, people will stop talking. If you want to, and then he blames the locker room for leaking stuff to the media. You know, okay, whatever. So that's fine. It is what it is. But I think it's good. Like I said, I agree with you that I'm glad that we got his perspective. Right. I can see that if you like, if Hangman did go off after planning the promo, that's pretty bad because that is trust. Agreed. Because wrestling is based entirely on trust.
Agreed.
Because you have to trust that guy not to hurt you, which means that if that really did happen, Punk's not wrong in saying, I got to watch out for myself now. You know, I got to take care of myself in the ring, not have a good match. Right. Like that's got to be the worst feeling because you actually put yourself in there with someone and you got to trust that they'll take care of you while you're wrestling them, right? So yeah, I don't blame him for that. If in fact the facts are as CM Punk said they were, we have no evidence because no one else is talking. So anyway, that was the CM Punk interview. I have one more piece of news. Bandido, unfortunately, stated Saturday on Facebook that he suffered an injury to his left wrist during his Wednesday match that aired Friday against
Takeshita.
Thank you, Konosuke Takeshita. The first diagnosis was a triangular fibrocartilage complex injury that would require immediate surgery. He's gone today to get a second opinion. Wrestling Observer reported that recovery from that kind of surgery can take 3+ months.
Oh, that sucks.
Yes.
That kind of sucks.
Yep. So Bandido may be on the shelf for a while, but we will see. I have not yet seen any news regarding his second opinion today, but we can find it. So that is that for the news. Not a lot of news this week because I think most of the news happened because we have Collision debuting, which is, of course, part of your now once again branded AEW Roundup. But did you have a dirt sheet for us tonight?
Yeah, it's not really a dirt sheet, just like a rumor that's been floating is that the Elite are not going to be at Dynamite this week. Apparently, according to reports, they did a pre-taped video that's going to progress their storylines or whatever, but they're not actually showing up at Dynamite. Now, this is not this is like there have been weeks Elite have not been on Dynamite, and we always call it out. But they're saying, well, CM Punk, it's in his backyard again, right? It's back in Chicago, so he may make a appearance on Dynamite, right? And coincidentally, the Bucks are not going to be there, right? So I'm like, okay. I was like, hey, listen, if this is what it's going to take for now to separate these people, then sure, they want to be like children, okay. And again, I'm not blaming either side. I'm saying if I was the Elites and this happened to me, from their perspective, I also would not want to work with this person. And CM Punk's side as well, like, thinking it wasn't that big of a deal. I'm like, really, dude? Okay, whatever. But like, hey, if he's tried to reach out and whatever, great. But like, potentially the lead are not going to be there. Um, I don't know what that means specifically because like, does that mean Kenny's not gonna be there? Cause he's has a big match coming up on Sunday as well. Like,
The gentleman who just happens to be, around right now.
yeah, exactly. Like in BTE, if you're watching it, he's back there with them, and I'm like, interesting. Again, Bean Lee was stupid as hell as usual, but I mean, like,
I
well,
didn't see
recently,
it this week,
oh, it
unfortunately.
wasn't good. But no, the only thing, sorry, just going off topic a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
no
The
worries.
only thing funny about being the elite, Matt, the whole the play on like we're gonna get paid so much money. Oh, this is the biggest
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
contract.
yeah, yeah.
He's gone back and he's like, apparently the contract apparently it's too late. And so he's trying to be like he's like, oh no, he's sweating because everyone like Nick's like, I'm in my hotel room and I'm on the treadmill. Yeah, it cost me like $1,000 extra to get it up here. But what's money to me right now, right? With a big contract coming up.
Oh my God.
And then Matt's like, he's still sweating when he's hearing all these things because
Yeah.
he's like, we'll take less, we'll take a lot less, we'll take 40% less than what
Oh
we
my
are.
God.
Right. So
Yeah.
I see you. It's just playing it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like again this whole elite thing. Again, these are the rumors. Maybe they're going to be a Dynamite, maybe not. But it's not the first time. So I mean, hey.
It's if that's the case,
Mm-hmm.
that's really bad timing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it. Dynamite's in Chicago. Okay, fine. So, you're gonna get the F the elite chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's what they do in Chicago because apparently they have bad taste in wrestlers. But just kidding, Chicago. I know you're a great wrestling town. The yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It makes me look forward to this week's Dynamite less. If I'm getting CM Punk instead of the Elite, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
hold on, wait a second,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Like,
that's not a good trade-off. Um, darn. Anyway, I hope the rumors are not true. I hope at least Kenny can show up. I
yeah,
don't know if
same.
he's able to work with Punk or not, but I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out.
Good times. We will have updates on this before Dynamite this week.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us then, speaking of Chicago and various TV shows, although Rampage was not in Chicago,
No, it was not.
but yeah, it's time for the AEW Roundup. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, I mean, I'll try not to take too much time up on the roundup. But again, we introduced Collision this week. But before we get to Collision, because Collision was Saturday, let's talk about Rampage a little bit. So Rampage had its Briscoe and Aubrey match versus Jay
I know.
Lethal
Yes.
and the Jarretts, Karen and Jeff. Watching this match when the women started wrestling, and this is no offense to women at all, this was not wrestling. This reminded me of like 90s attitude era divas matches. It was bad, bad, bad sports entertainment WWE. This was a WWE match. That's all I can really say. WWE match, and I'm like, why are you wasting Jay Lethal here? Like, I get it. The Briscoes are getting like Mark and now his dad. Like, great, sure, it's for the fans, but this match was bad. So I mean, like, I don't even know what to say about this match. It was just
Oh, I got some
bad.
stuff to say if you want.
Sure.
Yeah, the Briscoes. You just said it's for the fans. Now you and I, you said yourself when Jay passed away,
Mhm.
right? You went back and you watched some Briscoe matches and stuff, and you were like, "Oh my God, these guys are
They're
so
fantastic.
good. They're
Yeah.
fantastic wrestlers," and blah blah blah. You know what Mark Briscoe has not been doing recently very much?
Having good matches. Yeah.
Wrestling.
Yep.
It's like, what? Like this isn't what the fans asked for. What the fans want to see is Mark Briscoe competing. They want to see Mark
Hmm.
Briscoe going for titles. They want to see Mark Briscoe cutting promos. They want to see Mark Briscoe being Mark Briscoe. At least that's what I want.
Yeah.
I'm assuming I'm not alone. I mean, this is a wrestling show. This kind of crap that's showing up on Rampage and stuff recently, and like just it's been this kind of weird thing that's going on for a while, right? Because they're trying very hard in AEW
Hmm.
to draw in other fans because they want to grow. And I get it. Listen, the purpose of a business is to grow. And that's fine. But once again, we have this W, and how often have we used that phrase to describe things going on in AEW over the last few months?
Not we haven't,
Well, actually,
right?
we have often enough. The Acclaim stuff is like a
Oh well, that
WWE style
well that's yeah.
entrance, right?
Yeah.
This has been happening more often where we go, yeah, it was kind of in like endings to matches. We're like, yeah, that was kind of a WWE end to that match, right? It's like they need to stop. I don't need a second WWE. The whole reason I started watching AEW is because it was different. It was branded as different, presented
Mhm.
as different, and it should remain different.
Yep.
All
I
right.
agree.
I don't need this kind of, I don't know why this was even on television, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
In 2023, we have Karen Jarrett and
Jared.
Aubrey Edwards, a ref, cat fighting in the ring. Why? Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was bad.
just
It was
stop. It
bad.
was bad. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It would go down on like, let's remember this match when it comes to our worst matches of the year,
Yeah,
okay?
that's true.
Because
That's very
yeah.
true.
Anyway,
Very true.
okay, please continue. Sorry, I
Um,
took way more time than
no,
you did
no
on that
worries, no
one.
worries, no worries. Taya Valkyrie had a squash match. I guess she's turned fully heel now. I guess she's going back after Chris Statlander. That's the whole thing. Because I mean, technically, she has a point. She fought Jade, and then Chris came in and kind of cashed in on like a weakened Jade Cargill. I guess you want to say that. So I guess she's gone bad. Again, but I don't really care for the storyline, so I'm like, whatever,
No, I was just
whatever.
more interested to see Trish Adora because we will be seeing her on
That's right.
Sunday.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You're right. Chaos versus United Empire. This match was great. This match was
Yes.
great. Like it was again, United Empire minus guy was injured, but they brought in Jeff Cobb, right? So it was Cobb, Mark Davis, and not Mark
No,
Davis. What
Kyle
is it?
Fletcher.
Kyle
Mark
Fletcher.
Davis is out with the
Kyle
injury.
Davis. Yes. Fletcher and obviously Osprey versus Chaos, right? Ramiro and the best friends. This match was great. This match was so much fun. Like, I was watching this match and I'm like, man, when Will hits, holy crap, it's like he kills people, but he sells so good. Even when he was selling against Rocky, I'm like, yo, this guy can sell some of these moves. The reversals, like there was no way I thought Chaos was winning this match. There was no way. But I didn't expect Will to, hit like just hit the what is it? The hidden blade.
Yeah, the
Because I
hidden
thought he was gonna
blade.
hit it and just pin him. But he missed it because
Mm-hmm.
Rocky reversed it, and then Kyle Fletcher came in, right? And,
Yep.
and that's how they won. And I'm like, okay, that was a cool ending. I like that. No, this match was so much fun. Like I
Yep.
had fun. Like these guys went back and forth. Like when what's his face? Chuck I keep forgetting his name. I'm like Chuck Taylor. When he picked up Cobb, I'm like, yo, Jeff Cobb is a big man. Pick
Yes.
him up like that. Like even when Trent tried to do that exploder kind of like half
Mm-hmm.
Nelson flip, you could tell he couldn't get him over the full thing, right? So that it was like I had fun. Like this is like my second favorite match on this card because I'm getting to my favorite match on this card. But this match was fun. Like this match was so much fun. Remember how we always said like, oh, a Rampage opens up with fun matches? Like, I mean, yeah, like this match, oh, oof, great. Just if you have a chance, watch this. If anything to add to this match, any comments?
Just the United Empire is freaking awesome,
They're
man. I mean,
awesome.
how good are Kyle Fletcher and Jeff Cobb? We already know how good Will Ospreay is, but my God, the wrestlers in that faction are amazing.
They're awesome, and the fact that Fletcher and Davis are signed to AEW is just like icing
Mm-hmm.
on the cake there,
Yep.
right? And then my favorite match, Takeshita versus Bandido. I don't know what to say. I really like this bad Takeshita. He is so cool. Like you remember like Takeshita came out. He almost had like I call it the Rocky Maivia thing, right? He comes out, he's just like a good guy. Everyone loves him, but kind of gets kind of boring after a while, right? This guy is amazing in the ring. We knew this, but this bad persona he has, holy crap! What is Bandido's finishing move? I keep forgetting what they call it.
The 21 plex.
21 plex. When he flipped out of the 21 plex, I was awesome. Like, I've never seen this in my life, right?
Yeah.
And Bandido reversing his moves on him. I was like, this is absolutely. I don't know where Bandido got hurt. Like I was looking for it, but I don't know where he got hurt in that match. Though there was one where I'm like, it looked like it was maybe a mess up, but they obviously they're so good. Like they were just worked through it. This match was so effing cool. Like Takeshita, easily one of my top wrestlers. Bandido, holy crap, this guy is so good. AEW, where they stole this guy away from whoever wherever he was, because he has that, like, you forget how big he is. I always forget how big. I assume he's a small luchador. No. He's like almost as tall as Takeshita, and he's big, right? He's like picking up Takeshita and stuff like that. So like when I don't know if he spiked Takeshita's head into the mat. I was like, I think he just killed. No, Takeshita right there. I think he killed him. Right, and Takeshita's selling. Like, I'm not saying that didn't hurt, but Takeshita's selling on that was like, holy crap! I love Don Callis, and it is so ridiculous outside the ring. But Takeshita coming out to his new thing with Don, his thing is he is a centaur.
Yes, and Don Callis is riding him.
So ridiculous. It's so amazing.
Yes, El-Hijo
del Callis. Yeah. I mean, so ridiculous. No, I loved this match. I thought this match was so good, so hard hitting, and like it was almost like these two guys. I don't know if they've worked together before, but it's like they knew each other. Their chemistry was so good in this match. This if you had to watch one match, I'm even telling you, you got watch one match on Rampage. This is my choice to tell you to watch this match, even over the United Empire. I'm telling you to watch this match. It was the main event. So well, yeah,
I'm not going to disagree with you. Right. I mean, this match was incredible. I mean, Bandido is just so good. Takeshita is just so good. Bandido with that like delayed vertical on Takeshita. Takeshita's not a small guy.
No, he's not.
And to hold him up that long, it's just it's so good, right? And you know, the match started off, I'm kind of okay, this is good. And then it hit another gear at one point, and it was just like, holy hell, right? And then they went to a completely different level with it. And Takeshita still gets the win with his knee, the finisher. And yeah, so Takeshita picks up the big win. Bandido, unfortunately, may be on the shelf, but like you said, I didn't see where he got the injury either, so it was impossible to tell at that point. It might have been something he just felt afterwards, or who knows. Anyway,
great match. Great match. So then moving on to Collision again, the debut Collision. One thing I got to say about Collision, I like the way they have the setup. It actually looks like a different show. I like the red and stuff like that. It actually looks different, right? It doesn't look like Dynamite. So kudos to AEW for doing that. So Collision opened up obviously with the CM Punk promo. You know, he's in Chicago. They were chanting his name before he even like came out. CM Punk walks out with a bag, and he with a red bag with something in it, which was supposed to be the belt, the World Championship belt, and his boots around his neck. And part of me was like, did CM Punk forget to get dressed before he came out here? Like, well, did he just make it in? But it, part of the promo. So I'm just hit on some of the stuff with his promo. He starts off by first of all removing the AEW holder from around the mic. He takes it off and he drops it. Apparently, this is what he did before to signify that he was a heel now. Now that's funny because this heel promo, even though if you listen to it, it's kind of heelish, but it doesn't go over well in Chicago because that's everyone's just cheering for him, right? So little odd, but he had to come out and talk. he starts off about saying the wrestling business is a business, right? Similar to what to his interview. He's talking about he said he's tired of being nice. So he's not gonna be nice anymore. And this is what I was talking about. He's kind of cutting a heel promo here, but everyone in Chicago was going nuts. He says, love him or hate him, but we know he's right. No, we never said that, CM Punk. I don't know who told you this, but none of us said this to you, okay? He then goes on to say David Zaslav, and if anyone knows what David Zaslav is, he's the CEO of Warner Brothers, so the big guy, has called him One Bill Phil, right?
Yes.
And he's the genuine article in a business full of counterfeit bucks.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Now the Bucks obviously on Twitter, they changed their profile to say if this was 2018, we'd already have T-shirts saying counterfeit Bucks on it, right? So you know they're playing it up too. So he says the King is apparently back. I don't know the King of what, but the King is apparently back.
Jerry Lawler.
Apparently, like Jerry Lawler's music starts up. It did not. He asked Chicago. Now here's the thing. He asked Chicago why would he change. Really, what's Chicago going to say? Never changed or whatever. He goes on to say, some people here believe they're owed an apology. Mm-hmm. So he says he'll be the bigger man. So he says he's sorry that the only people softer than you are the wrestlers you like. Then he said, tell me when I'm telling lies. And I was like, dude, like, come on. Now, we know this promo obviously has been vetted. So this is all part of it. Like, this is him doing a wrestling promo. I hope so. He then goes on to say he never lost the championship. He's right. He didn't. He got injured, right? He says, and he takes a little jab at MJF. He's like, I'm not gonna here telling you that I had the best dog collar match. He's like, no, I won the dog collar match, and that's why I have this. So he says, until he's submitted or pinned, that belt belongs to him. I'm like, interesting. Okay, all right. Then he talks about.
No one told him that's not how belts work.
Yeah. Then he talks about leaving the boots in the ring, and he said, until someone in this company can fill his boots, they belong on him. Interesting promo. I mean, it was shots fired. He went. It wasn't like people were saying, "Oh my God, he said so many crazy things." No, he said some stuff. But my thought on this was, I think this is all kayfabe. This has to be all kayfabe. There's no way Tony Khan is losing control again. This is him going out, and he's told him, like, these are the things you can talk about. Because I remember again, he didn't mention anyone's name here, right? So he just made those comments. So that was interesting. So I thought, you know what, for a promo, for him being back, it was good. It was a good promo. I have nothing else to say about it, right? It was for what he was trying to do. Because remember, when Omega and the Bucks went into Chicago after they were reinstated, remember they mocked him and they did all this other stuff, right? So hey, eye for an eye. I'm not upset with this promo in any way. I'm kind of like, okay, if he didn't address it, I think it would be more of an issue, right? If he didn't come out and say anything about it, then people are going to be like, yeah, but you're not addressing the elephant in the room right now, right? Like, you're literally just like skirting around it and not talking about anything. So I do appreciate he actually said stuff. And I'm again, fingers crossed, this was vetted by Tony and Tony was okay with this stuff, right? So I'm like, again, lawyers involved. I'm assuming that's what happened. And then he went off into the back. So then something strange happened, Bill. But I don't know if it was strange because it happens a lot. Wardlow lost his belts again.
Yes. Mind if I rewind for a second?
Sure. Sorry. Any comments on the Punk stuff?
Promo.
Yeah, on the Punk stuff. Any comments?
Yeah, I do have a couple of comments on it. One, honestly, if that Bucks comment doesn't lead to anything whatsoever down the road, it was literally a jab for nothing.
100%.
Yeah, which is no different than Page's jab for nothing.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like I would rather not hear anything about it. At this point, just tell me wrestling stories. You're back. Okay, fine. Tell me wrestling stories. The MJF stuff, great. Go for it. The belt stuff, wonderful. You can't fill my no one can fill my shoes thing. So until you can, I'm gonna wear it. Listen, if you judge the metric of success by the number of extra eyeballs you draw to a broadcast, and I'm sure that's how the business judges success, then great. How I judge wrestling success is by being a really good wrestler. Does that
Yeah.
necessarily mean you're gonna draw every single eyeball? No. It means you're going to draw eyeballs that understand why you're such a good wrestler. And those are the eyeballs that matter, in my opinion. But that's because I'm a bit of an elitist and wrestling hipster or something. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. I mean, I got nothing more to say. You basically summed up anything else I had to say. So please continue with Wardlow losing his belt yet again.
So Wardlow loses his belt again. Now, listen, I have no problem with Luchasaurus being the champ, or sorry, Luchasaurus and Christian being the champ here. Like, how is it that Wardlow has a belt before Jungle Boy? Right? This is sort of like, what? Okay.
Do you mean sure. Luchasaurus has a belt before
Sorry,
Jungle
Luchasaurus.
Boy?
Yeah, Luchasaurus. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. That's, I guess the Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus they had the tag team belts.
They had the tag belts.
Yeah. But I mean, like, singles belts, Jungle Boy's never had one, right? Yeah. As far as I know. So I was like, that was an odd decision, but I get the storyline. I get it. Like, the Christian celebrating like as if he had won the belt was the funniest thing I've seen in such a long time. Yeah. Like another kind of, so this was gonna happen. Wardlow's just gonna win the belt, lose the belt, win the belt, lose the belt. Like, I get it. It's a TV championship, so why not? Why not have it change hands on TV, right?
Wardlow, permanent transitional champion.
Yeah, exactly. So odd. How do you build momentum for a guy if you keep like just crushing him? Like, and he wasn't crushed. He was not crushed. Like, he put on a good match.
It wasn't terrible.
But like, he lost. And I'm like, when the ref counted to 3, I'm like, oh, he's kicking out. No, he just lost. And I was like, cool. All right. All right.
Is this setting up a Luchasaurus face turn?
No way. It's kind of like, okay, so Luchasaurus is going to be the big bad, and then we're going to need Wardlow to come save us again. Like, it's been done already. Like, we do this all the time. It was with Hobbs, we did it. Now we're going to do this with Wardlow again. Like, I don't.
Unless this is a setup for Hobbs to do a face turn.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Didn't think about that. Actually, okay, cool. Next up, I have just some notes here. Andrade versus Matthews. Buddy Matthews, that is. Great match. This match was like, I'm happy to see Andrade back, to be honest with you. Like, he's such a good wrestler. These guys, like, it's weird because I'm like, wait, aren't you both bad guys? Why are you guys fighting each other? Right? I'm like, aren't you part of like, where's Roosh? Right? I'm like,
he has visa problems right now.
Oh, that explains it. Yes. But like, the fact that it's weird because Andrade was kind of extending the olive branch here to Matthews at one point, and then obviously I think it got beaten down. But I mean, like, this match is fantastic. I love that flip he does off the top rope where he misses, like the guy rolls, and then he does it again and hits him. I'm like, that's so cool. Like, this match, like the moves these guys were doing were absolutely fantastic. I actually laughed when they both did the girlfriend's moves. Like, I don't know if you caught that.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's how Andrade won the match.
No, not Andrade, but even Matthews.
Oh,
Matthews
I know he did Rhea Ripley's move.
And I was like, when he did it, I was like, wait a minute, isn't that Ripley's move? Because Andrade's is so, like, the one he did, we obviously knew whose move that was, right? But it was when Buddy Matthews did it because what's her face? Toni Storm does it a lot, right? That kind of like not Boston Crab.
She does a Texas Cloverleaf. This was more of an inverted sharpshooter.
Yeah. So yeah, she does a similar-ish thing, but like, when I saw him do it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's Rhea's move. And then when Andrade won with the first, I'm like, okay, he's doing the figure 4. He's doing Ric Flair's move to beat Matthews, and then I'm like, is he doing the figure 8? Is that what's happening right now? And he did. This match was fun. Again, I'm just a little confused what's happening here because they're both bad guys. Unless Andrade turned face when he left, he is still a bad guy as far as I remember. But that aside, this match was great. This match to me obviously was the match of the night on Collision.
Yes, it was.
Easily. This match to me was like the Takeshita versus Bandido match on Rampage, right? Fantastic match. Two guys who just like went out there just like tried to kill each other apparently. Um, and just wow, like I'm so, like if Matthews, so if the House of Black and suddenly like what do they call themselves? Roosh and
La Facción
Potassium.
Ingobernable.
Yeah, if they're on Collision permanently, I'm watching Collision just for them, right? Because they're so awesome. They're just so cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know I love this match. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, and that's why when I get to my match of the week, something like it's tough for me. I don't know what to choose right now.
Mhm.
But I love this match. I thought it was great. Match of the night easily for Collision. Not saying Collision was bad. I'm just saying it was the match of the night in comparison, right? So, any comments on this match?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, again, I agree with the match of the night on Collision. These two guys. The
Has Matthews
storytelling,
had a fight?
the
Yeah,
storytelling in this match was so good. Like,
yeah,
I like how they used the commercial break to sell the injuries, right?
yeah.
Like the doctors had to check on both of them after that meteora
Mhm. Oh my
um
god.
that Matthews landed on Andrade, and then Andrade's like, "Oh, my shoulder," and blah blah. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. Yes, and it
Ha-
also harkened back to previous injuries on both of them.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah, it was really smart storytelling.
Has this been? Was this the best singles Matthews match he's had?
Ooh, he's had a lot of good matches.
I mean, the one against Orange Cassidy
Recently,
was pretty good, right? It
yeah,
was pretty good. But I think this was
recently.
better.
Did he fight Pac a while back? I mean, that one was
Oh, I
just
can't remember.
incredible,
Oh, if he
wasn't
did,
it?
then I can't remember that one. But that one must have been
Or,
amazing
or am
too.
I thinking of a match they had when they were both still in
Maybe,
WWE?
maybe. Oh, Bill, then your favorite person came back,
Oh, I
Miro,
know. Yeah, I
and
know.
he destroyed Tony Nese. Because I was kind of wondering, like, why is Tony Nese here? Then I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Miro's here. He's back. It was a squash match, basically a squash match.
For
Kind of like
Tony.
like nothing crazy good about this match. Kind of like, okay, it's a squash match. And the weird part I thought about this is that he didn't say anything, and he hasn't said anything since he's back. He came back, right?
Right.
Are they leading up to something? Is that what's happening here? Like
You would
something must
hope.
right? Something must be happening, right? Just very odd because I thought he was gonna grab a mic and maybe we're gonna have like a backstage promo. Nothing.
No.
Absolutely nothing, right? So that I thought that was kind of interesting. But again, this match was okay. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing to write home about. It's
Yeah.
a
I
squash
mean,
match. I had more fun with the Outcasts versus Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue.
oh yeah, it's a
First,
great match.
first of all, I want to give shout out. Sky Blue got the win. Like that was actually pretty cool. And her move looked pretty good. It looks
Oh yeah, she nailed the
she
code blue.
yeah,
Yeah.
she hit it really well. Like, and again, that's thanks to Ruby Soho for that, right? Like that looked great when she hit it.
Mm-hmm.
I this match was fun. Like Willow looked good, but I thought Sky looked better. Like in a lot of this match, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's good to say. I mean like Tony Storm's been having great matches recently, and Ruby Soho is she's just good,
Mm-hmm.
right? She's just good, right? And so you put all four of them together. This was actually a fun match. This is better than the Miro match by far.
Yep.
And yeah, I just had fun with this match. I thought giving Sky Blue the win was a good call, right? I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of cool. Her mom was there and stuff like that. An overall fun match. I guess they're doing the Tony Storm versus Willow at the pay-per-view. I don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't
Well,
really.
yeah. I mean, well, I'll talk about that after you were done the
Okay,
collision
cool.
thing,
Cool, cool, cool,
but
cool.
yeah.
Um again, so again, happy to see Sky get the win. Then Bill, then your favorite part happened, obviously, when the Acclaim came out and
Oh,
announced that
the
they're
best segment on collision.
going
Best segment on collision.
going after the trios belts. And I was like, and you guys are gonna win it? Come on,
They,
come
they
on.
they are going to win them because Billy Gunn needs his last championship.
Oh no.
So they're
Oh
totally winning those
no.
belts. You know that, right?
Yeah. So they scissored on. They said it was Father's Day coming up as a holiday. So they all scissored with Tony Schiavone,
Yep.
and that's my recap of that promo because I didn't care for it at all.
That's very ironic if you really stop and think about it. Scissoring to celebrate Father's
Father's
Day.
Day.
I'm just saying. Anyway.
And then obviously the final match, Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold versus CMFTR. Is that what they're calling it? I saw a t-shirt that
CMTR sounds like a
I
radio
think they,
station.
yeah.
CMTR coming
No,
at you
I
from
swear I saw a
downtown
t-shirt that said
Chicago.
CMFTR. And I was like, "Oh, they already have t-shirts printed for this stuff?" Cool. This match, what can I say about this match? It was good. It was good, right? I mean, there was nothing wrong with Punk looked good. He looked good in the match. That's as far as I saw, he looked good. FTR and what's it called Bullet Club Gold. They're they were great. I mean, um Jay White and Juice Robinson are good. Like Samoa Joe, like just guys, I miss Samoa Joe. He's just so imposing. He's so cool. Um, we knew what was gonna happen here. We knew who was gonna win, right? We knew that it was happening, and I guess yeah. At the end, you had to, you're not gonna make CM Punk lose on his return
No,
to Chicago. He's obviously gonna win. Juice taking the fall off makes
of
the
course
most.
he was the guy on that
Yeah,
team that was in there to take
yeah,
the pin. Yeah.
yeah. He Juice eating the pin makes sense. It was, so what was it? The big rig into the GTS,
Yes.
and then the pin, right? So yeah,
Yep.
that there were a couple times where like I thought the match was going to end earlier just based on, but there
It
were a
was
lot
a
of breakups.
long
It was
match.
that's what I meant, right? I'm like, I thought the
Yeah.
match was going to end a bit earlier,
Yeah,
so I was
because
like,
I was like, yeah, the match is going to end earlier because clearly they're going to do some stuff.
you mean like set up for Forbidden Door?
Yeah. So
I
I'm
thought the
like,
exact
okay,
same
so
thing.
this match is going to end a little early because we're going to get, because look, they started it so early. No, they had like a 25-minute match.
Yeah, yeah.
And
For
CM Punk
what
was in the
reason? I
match
don't
for
know.
what, 5 minutes of that
Yeah,
25 minutes, maybe
exactly.
less. Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know who the star of this match was? Juice Robinson.
He was. He really
That
was.
dude is so good.
He's so
Seriously.
funny.
He's so funny and he's so good in the ring and
Hmm.
he sells well and he's got such a great move set. And I mean, he's they put him in more matches where he gets to show
Yeah,
off his wrestling ability because he's
yeah,
so damn good. Right.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
And that
But the
and
match was good.
good. Nothing to write home about. It was just
It,
good.
it wasn't Andrade Matthews
No,
good.
oh, 100% on Andrade
In
Matthews
fact,
good.
I think I can safely say I probably enjoyed the women's match a little more than this one too.
No, the women match was, you know what, why the women match was so good? Because it was so fast and it was so fluid. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
outstay its welcome. It just
Yep.
happened and it ended. And you're like, oh, that was a fast, fun match.
Well, that's what happens when you have three wrestlers in the ring who all have Stardom
Oh, there you
experience.
go.
I'm just saying that both Tony, Ruby,
Stardom
and Willow have
experience.
all wrestled in Stardom.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah.
And that was the AEW Roundup.
Yeah. And so the biggest disappointment I had was that
Mhm.
we got
Nothing.
zero build heading to Forbidden Door out of any of that. It really was just here's Collision. It's a great show. Look at the matches you're going to get. Oh, by the way, we have a pay-per-view that might be coming up in like a week, but who cares? Right? Like, just here's some names who have nothing to do yet on this pay-per-view from New Japan. Tetsuya Naito, Tomohiro Ishii, Shingo Takagi, Hiromu Takahashi, Jeff Cobb, who you saw on
Mhm.
Rampage, Tai Chi, the tag champs, Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi, Shota Umino, El Desperado, Ren Narita, Yota Tsuji, their new really charismatic big guy, Aaron Hanare, Master Wato. I mean, none of these guys
Yeah.
are booked on Forbidden Door. AEW, here's the names that do not yet have any match on Forbidden Door. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, the Young Bucks, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara, Sting, Darby Allin, The Acclaimed, Adam Page, House of Black, Wardlow, Jay White, Juice Robinson, FTR, Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, CM Punk.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, none of them, not an inkling of a match, right? They now Kenta teased with
I
social
heard.
media comments on CM
Yeah.
Punk and went absolutely nowhere Saturday. Absolutely nowhere. If you were going to do that angle, that was the time to do it. And
Mhm.
did they do it? No, they had a 25-minute match instead. Fine, whatever. They've teased Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. We're probably getting that. probably, and they've
Mhm.
teased Katsuyori Shibata versus Daniel Garcia, and we could get that one as well, though that's not really a Forbidden Door match because
Yeah.
Shibata doesn't work for, and I think that'll be more likely on a Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Mhm.
But so yeah, but all those names, and we have less than a week. Now, admittedly, again, it's a 2-match show,
Fair enough. Yeah.
right? But we got to sit there for 3.5 hours before we get to those 2 matches. So I'd like to see some good wrestling in those 3 hours
Yeah.
of
Same.
time. Thank
Same.
you. Because that's a long wait
Yep.
for two
I agree.
matches if you're not going to give me anything else that I'm excited about. Now, I get it. This kind of pay per view can be put together with very little build. I get it because we want to see the names. We want to see like
Mhm.
these matches, right? I mean, Okada, Danielson, but at least it's had some build. Not a lot, but it's had
It's
build.
had
They've
something. Yeah.
exchanged some promos. Same with Osprey. I mean, God, Osprey and Omega, that's an instant build because they've been building for like a year and a
Mhm.
half now to
Yep.
this whole series, right? So yeah, instant. But the rest of it, I mean, at least Zack Sabre Jr. showed up last week.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep. At least Will Ospreay ambushed Omega, which in the most awesome moment in wrestling this week. But, at least that happened. But other than that, we got Bupkis.
Yeah. That's
I
true.
I really thought we'd get something on Collision. I really did.
Nope. Nothing. I thought we would too. I really thought that we were going to get like a challenge at the end of Collision, for at least for FTR and CM Punk, but nothing happened.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So
Or like Jay White and Juice Robinson would bring out a third member and challenge them,
nothing.
maybe for the title. I don't know. Anything. Nada, nothing. We could have had the video stream or something, right? Like some people show up on the screen and do what you said for Dynamite. Two guys show up to
Yeah.
challenge FTR, then they move out of the way, and another guy shows up to challenge CM
Yeah.
Punk. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Kenta versus CM Punk, but then CM Punk might, have to not win against the guy who invented the go to sleep.
Mhm.
So I think CM Punk has a pretty damn big ego. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it took him long enough to even admit that it was Kenta's move. So, anyway, that's a good segue to the report from Japan, the
From
trip
Japan.
down Bushi Road, shall we call it. So, New Japan Strong is having an Independence Day card on July 4th and 5th. And just a quick note on it before we move on. Jon Moxley will be facing El Desperado in a death match on July 5th in a New Japan Strong show. It's the first time New Japan Strong shows are taking place in Japan.
Okay. Okay.
So he's taking on in a death match, and he said there will be no. Jon Moxley said in a promo, of course, in classic Jon Moxley, there's going to be no winner of this match, just a survivor. So
Awesome.
yeah, should be pretty great. And on the night before, Jon Moxley is teaming with Homicide to take on El Desperado and Jun Kasai in a match they're calling an exciting encounter Doomsday no DQ.
Okay. That's
Exciting encounter Doomsday no DQ match. Yes, Jun Kasai is of course another famous death match
okay.
specialist.
All right.
So
Okay.
so yes, there's going to be some carnage on 2 days in Japan. They don't usually do death matches in New Japan at all, like ever.
Mhm.
So this is very interesting. The IWGP tag title match has also been added to the July 5th show with Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defending against Alex Coughlin and Gabe Kidd of Bullet Club. And they're also going to be defending on July 4th again with their New Japan Strong tag titles against Kidd and Coughlin. So there's 2 matches back to back, both of them against Kidd and Coughlin of the Bullet Club. And you know what this means? There's not a chance in hell they will be dropping those titles at Forbidden Door because they
Oh,
are already
okay.
announced to be defending them on July 4th and 5th. So I don't think we're going to be either getting them defending
Yeah.
their titles or them showing up or anything. So also on the card, main event of night 1, again with Forbidden Door implications. IWGP World Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions TJP and Francesco Akira will be defending against Drilla Maloney and Clark Connors of Bullet Club. And you're getting Eddie Kingston and Rocky Romero taking on Kenta and Gato on night 1. And then Kenta's going to defend his Strong title against Eddie Kingston on night 2.
Okay. Okay.
So We're not getting Kenta defending that title on Forbidden Door because he will be defending it against Eddie Kingston. So any of those titles you just heard me mention are not
Not
showing
Kenta.
up on Forbidden Door. So that takes care of TJP and Francesco Akira. They will not be putting, they might be on the show, but they will not be putting those titles on the line. Kenta
Yeah.
might be on the show, will not be putting the title on the line. The same thing with the tag champs. So you could have like a 6-man or something, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. I don't know. None of that's happening. So that's it for New Japan this week, which means, of course, we are moving on to the greatest wrestling promotion on the face of the earth, Stardom World Wonder Ring. And I'm going to talk to you first off. I've got two different storylines to talk about today. And the first one, of course, is the Sori Anu saga, which, as you all know, she joined Cosmic Angels when Mina Shirakawa quit the group and went off with Club Venus to form the worst faction in Stardom. With the worst music in professional wrestling. Anyway, so yes, Sayori Ano has joined, but she's had some tensions with Natsupoi because, first of all, Sayori Ano will not engage in the kawaii type stuff that Cosmic Angels is known for. She just kind of stands there half miming it, and she has this very kind of like ice queen attitude to her that's very cool. But June 3rd, in the Utsunomiya show. I probably butchered the pronunciation. My apologies. Queen's Quest, Utami Hayashishita, Kasaya Kamatani, and Izumi took on Tam Nakano, Natsupoi, and Soriano. This was the day before the June 4th show that I mentioned briefly last week, and we'll get in more detail in a moment. This particular match went to a time limit draw with Kamatani with a bridging German on Sari, and at the 2 count, the bell went. Very similar to what happened in the particular time limit draw this week, but this happened days before that one. I could watch these two teams all day, seriously. Izumi and Natsupoi are just so damn fast, right? The problem is, though, is that in real life, Natsupoi lost her voice like before this match, and they used it, of course, as a comedy spot. She was trying to talk, like yell at Izumi in the ring, and she couldn't yell anything, and Izumi was making fun of her, and it was actually pretty funny. Tam did a PK to Izumi's back at one point that looked like it absolutely killed her. Absolutely, like the thump was insane, and Izumi just screamed. Right, it was just she sold it so well, it was nuts. Sorry, that was a star. She might be the best bridging wrestler on any roster in wrestling. I mean, even her finisher, right? I mean, it's the whole bridge back, and she hits all 4 limbs with hers to pin the person. It's pretty crazy. There's very little tension in this match, though, really on either team, you know, because of course, you know, Queen's Quest is having their problems with Utami and Saya, right? And Izumi kind of caught in the middle. But, you know, other than the tension that's been pretty typical, great match, though. I definitely recommend checking that one out. That's the June 3rd show. June 4th from Korakuen and Hall. We got Cosmic Angels, Natsupoi and Soriano, taking on Club Venus, Jesse and Xena. Jessie is probably my favorite member of Club Venus because, you know, I don't know why, she just is. If I had to pick a favorite member, it would be her, I guess, of the add-ons, not including Mina Shirakawa, who of course is the standout in the whole group. But sorry, won this one, pinning Jessie with the pote ring, which is that exactly what I've told you, where she bridges back and covers every point, like holds down the hands and feet of the person so that they can't get out of the pin. It's a very cool like jackknife type maneuver. And she reversed a roll up to do it. Natsupoi, though, at the beginning had a pose down, like a muscle builder pose down. Natsupoi doing that with Jesse at one point. Jesse, of course, kept making fun of them. They traded cartwheels too. Then Jesse, Natsupoi tagged out to Sori, and as Jesse just went to Natsupoi, no, bye-bye, you go tag now. No, bye-bye, go tag. Right, and she just wouldn't keep going until Natsupoi went and tagged. So she went over and like whacked Sayori, who wasn't paying attention, and Sayori got in the ring. And then Jesse wants to do like a dance down with Sayori. Sayori looks like she's about to start the move and then beats the crap out of Jesse. It was pretty great because that's how she rolls. But Club Venus dominated the majority of this match. Size, power, right? Cosmic Angels wouldn't stay down, though, you know, kicking out of everything they threw at him. But there were mix-ups. Natsupoi kicked Sari once by accident and then splashed her when trying to break up a pin. Of course, the person rolled off, and then Natsupoi splashes her own teammate. Sari, though, also hit a missile drop kick on Natsupoi when Jesse moved at one point. And then the end of the match, both standing together, right? And Sari, she just gets this look on her face and she snaps and she tries to fisherman suplex Natsupoi, right? And there was this like odd look on her face before she did it. And Natsupoi grabs a mic. She has no voice. She tries
Oh
to
no.
say something to Sari, and Sari just looks at her and goes, I can't understand a word you're saying, and left. Right. And Natsupoi goes, I'll go heal first, then I'll say something, right? Like she whispered that into the mic. So yeah. Then we had Sari now teaming with Suzu Suzuki and Mei Sarah on June the 7th at the Maibara from Shiga match against Queen's Quest again, Azumi, Saya Kamitani, and Utami Hayashishita. This is Sari's hometown. This went to a 15-minute time limit draw again, leaving Azumi and Mei Sarah in the ring. And I mean, oh my God, those two, they had such an awesome sequence. And they both got a lot of time in this match. It was just another phenomenal match. So far, you would have loved it. Suzu and Azumi were worth it alone for their time in the ring, too. Mei Sarah is like speed incarnate. She even does like when she's rope running, like going back and forth on the ropes. She does head fakes to fake out her opponent as to which side she's going to go on when she runs past them, right? It's so well done, like just little things like that, and the speed they move at, it's just insane, right? So yeah, it was really great. Mei Sarah versus Izumi, I will watch anytime, period. But this was interesting because Suzu she teamed with two people who are not Cosmic Angels, right? And Suzu Suzuki kind of made fun of her afterwards in the press conference, being kind of like, this feels kind of like we're going backwards or something here, right? I think referring to times they fought each other. They fought each other on previous promotions from Stardom, and Sari wanted to talk to Tam, and Tam came in. I'm not sure what they said to each other, right? But Tam handed her something and talked to her about something, and then left, and everyone seemed happy, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So it seems like things are kind of, but see, Tam and Natsupoi were busy trying to get Yuna Mizumori into Cosmic Angels because she wants to be part of Cosmic Angels. So she's been wrestling with them as their trio, and Soriano is off wrestling with Suzu and Mei Sarah as her partners because they've only got the 3 members of Cosmic Angels right now, right? So yeah, very interesting. Things are afoot. I know I know a few spoilers for what's coming up, but I will save them for next week because the plot thickens.
Awesome.
So then we move on to the second one. This is a much shorter one because, as we know, on June the 25th, there will be an elimination match in a steel cage between Oedo Tai and Queen's Quest. The last person to escape the cage joins the other faction. So they had a preview elimination match on June the 11th in Osaka. And we got Natsuko Tora, Momo Watanabe, Starlight Kid, Ruaka, and Saki Kashima taking on Queen's Quest, Utami Hayashishita, Saki Kashima, Lady C, Miyu Amasaki, and Izumi in an elimination match. And Saki Kashima pulls out the pin on Izumi with, guess what? The most dangerous move in professional wrestling, the Kishikase. After Starlight Kid eliminated Miyu and Izumi eliminated Starlight Kid. So Azumi got a huge near fall with the Azumi Sushi right before that, and then really took it to Saki. I mean, Saki Kashima has got to be one of the greatest punching bags in Stardom. She gets beaten and beaten and beaten and then wins the match. And like half the time when she's won a match, they have to like scrape her up off the floor. So I love her. She's so great. But anyway, she just pulled it out with the Kishikasai out of nowhere. And then as soon as the match was over, Tora, the leader of Oedo Tai, grabs a microphone, goes straight up to Utami and says, "Remember what you said to us? I'll remind you. You said we were weak and all we did was talk. Well, isn't that you now? We used to fight each other hard. Now you and Kamitani and Izumi asking what's going on with you. Nobody looks up to you. Queen's Quest is falling apart. No one believes in you. There's no time left until June 25th. What are you going to do? You can't make up to everyone in Queen's Quest. You're going to lose." She may not be wrong. And then Queen's Quest leaves without their leader in Utami. Like Oedo Tai leaves too. Utami's just sitting on the ring apron for a while while Oedo Tai's music is still playing, and then she just gets herself off the apron and walks dejectedly to the back. So yeah, it looks like Queen's Quest is falling apart, or Utami is falling apart. Now, could this be leading to Utami being the last person out of the cage and being forced to join Oedo Tai? That would be Interesting.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting. But yeah, yeah, that would be something else. Or do we get Saya Kamatani joining them? Because that would be, although I get the feeling from watching them right now that Sai is kind of still being cast as like the good guy and Utami's the
Mhm.
mixed up one. Even Azumi's asking her, like, you know, what's going on with you to Utami, right? So it's interesting. They're doing something I mean, she bailed out of that generational match too, right? Now that I've actually seen the translation of those promos I talked about last week of that absolutely amazing generational match. Utami actually left going, I don't give a crap about this generational stuff. Leave me out of it. So she just left. So something's going on with her. We will
Okay.
find out.
Okay.
So yeah, I cannot wait for the matches on June 25th, though I will be watching them much later because I will be wrestling out on June 25th. I'll need to give it a couple days to breathe before I go and watch the Stardom show from the 25th. So anyway, that is my Stardom report this week. And then that brings us to our matches and wrestlers of the week. What do you got for us?
So my match of the week, again, I'm going back and forth. The MJF versus Page Cole match was amazing. I thought it was fantastic. It did, but I really did enjoy, for me, the Takeshita Bandido match more. Like I know a lot of people would choose the Cole match over this, but for me, my match of the week is Takeshita versus Bandido because I don't know why I didn't expect what I got, but it blew like my expectations out of the water, right? So I had so much fun. Those two guys, unfortunately, Bandido's now injured, but I'm giving Takeshita and Bandido match of the week.
Not a terrible choice. I am, though, one of the guys that you mentioned who is taking Adam Cole and
MJF,
MJ. I mean, I give that
yeah,
4.5 stars, right?
it's a great match.
I didn't see another 4.5 star match
Yeah,
this week. I
it
saw a
was a
lot of
great match.
really good wrestling. I saw
Yeah,
some great stuff on Stardom. I saw some great stuff, Collision and Rampage, right? I mean, Andrade and Matthews was
oof,
spectacular.
yeah,
You know, that was a 4 star match, right? And I would have given Takeshita and Bandito 4 as well. None of them were 4.5, right? I mean, the storytelling in that match was just
it was great.
epic.
It was great.
Yeah, MJF, like they went to another level. They went to another level with that time limit draw. I
Hmm.
just thought it was done so well.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah, that is my match of the week. So there you go.
awesome, awesome. My wrestler of the week is I'm going with obviously Takeshita for my wrestler of the week because this guy I kept saying, like, I like this new persona. I like what he's doing in the ring now. Not that I didn't like what he was doing before. I just think it's so much cooler. It's almost like he's found his thing, right? It's just so cool. I love it. I think it's so awesome. So I'm giving wrestler of the week to my boy Takeshita.
Nice, nice. I am giving wrestler of the week to Sariana
Oh, okay.
because she put on a number of really good matches this week. She story tells incredibly well in the
Mhm.
ring. She sells like a champ. You know, her move set is great. And she's such a good pickup by Stardom. Such a good pickup. Right. The fact that she's now there full time, part of Cosmic Angels and stuff, it's been so good. She's just such a remarkable personality. And I love her character because she's developed it so well. And just that you never know what she's thinking. You never know.
Yeah.
So it's very cool. Yeah, so she gets my wrestler of the week.
Nice, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But that brings our news show slash wrestling show slash anything else we want to call it to an end for this week. But we will be back. We will be back on Wednesday with our Dynamite show. We will also be back with preview shows, like we said, for Smash Wrestling with their shows with Femme Fatales and Defy in Progress. And
Mhm.
we'll be back with a preview of Forbidden Door as well. So look out for all of those this week. It is a super busy week here in wrestling and at One Winged Wrestling. So check it all out. But for now, as the great one always says, who is still the god of pro wrestling, no matter what Don Callis tries to call Konosuke Takeshita. Goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.